So the value of geekStarter that I find for the students is the ability for them to be mentored and get exposure to industry, get a head start in their careers and their education, learn all these things in the real world that they can apply their education and their science and their projects to solving real world problems. And I think that's really quite exciting as a place for education in Alberta.
Well, I've always been interested in going into science in university after I graduated high school, and participating in things like aGEM really allowed me to see what other options are out there in science and what new technologies are being developed. And also because I want to go to university in Alberta, either at the U of C or U of L, getting to see their synthetic biology teams present was a really great opportunity, so I could see what teams I'd be interested in joining in the future and what projects they're working on.
The critical analysis that you go through during the development of your project and getting feedback throughout the project, and then at aGEM especially, where you're getting feedback from judges. That's very unique to this process, and that also comes from having a team that's interdisciplinary. We're starting to see more overlap in terms of fields coming together and making novel projects.
I think support for teams of students working is something that's especially important, because in reality, science and engineering, that is how they are going to be working. It's a different dynamic. It involves skills that are very different from working independently on a project, or doing homework, or working on papers, for example, for classes. And it's just increasingly the way that science and engineering is done.
I mean, I was quite blown away this year from the high school teams and the work that they put through, and the professionalism of how they presented their projects is quite amazing.
aGEM has really also given us the opportunity to take the project that we made together for aGEM specifically, but also learn about how all of our pieces actually did come together. We see it in its entire form. I think aGEM gives us the opportunity to really see the end product of our goal.
I've always really enjoyed science, and so I'm also planning to go into some type of science program when I've graduated. aGEM and hopefully aGEM in the future have given me a chance to explore just all the different realms of science that you can go into, and I think there's a lot of things that molecular biology can be applied to, which was very cool and very inspiring.
The students really get to learn how to work in a team, which I think a lot of people don't learn until much later. And they have their own responsibilities, and they go through events that are not just school affiliated, in which you need to be professional. And we've seen it even with the younger students being very professional, being very open that they are students, but they are also a person on a path to a career, and they want to be taken seriously, which is really wonderful to see from young people.
The performances that come from the Alberta teams would never be where they are at the aGEM competitions if it weren't for the geekStarter program.
So the opportunity that geekStarter provides to these high school teams, I think, is what enables them to participate in a competition like aGEM. So geekStarter providing not just financial resources, but also the training in terms of access to experts and access to other types of expertise, and in some instances access to laboratories maybe at a university or a college, is what I think is enabling these teams to be successful.
Being at aGEM and being able to share your ideas with very experienced people and people from different research communities or backgrounds, and seeing how they're saying this is an excellent idea, like you guys should pursue this. It's wonderful, and of course the resources that aGEM and geekStarter provides, and providing us these opportunities is amazing.